Gender-based violence, another pandemic faced by South Africa. Each and every year, we are faced by this incurable ailment that even internationally has been recognized as a public health and human rights issue. Today, we are internationally celebrating Abafazi Imbokodo. Therefore, my focal area will be centered around knowing your rights as a woman and or mother. My name is Letho Sibanda. I'm a paralegal at N Moola Incorporated, a female-owned and led law firm that has made me realize the staggering power that women possess. The social construction of gender stipulates that gender roles are an achieved status, which categorizes people and therefore influences behavior in a lot of households. A lot of our African households are patriarchal, such that women and mothers are unable to live a life that they desire under the rule of their fathers and husbands. Gender-based violence is in the form of suffering of women, physical violence, sexual harm towards even the girl children. The social construction of gender stipulates that gender roles are socially constructed and therefore categorizes people and influences social behaviors in a lot of households. A lot of our African households are patriarchal, such that women are unable to live a life that they desire under the rule of their fathers and husbands. Gender-based violence may include sexual harassment, physical harm, or psychological harm towards women and girl children. According to most of our South African cultures and religions, for a marriage to be initiated and solemnized, lobola first needs to be paid to the bride's family. Formally, in my Ndebele culture, an eggs, a hoe, a traditional mat, or even a goat would suffice as a token of appreciation for bearing him a wife. And if from a wealthy family, a man could give a head of cattle to the bride's family. Unfortunately, lobola has evolved into a get-rich-quick scheme for a lot of families and parents. Men are now being charged large amounts of money as bride price. This tradition has, however, transmitted a wrong message to most men, as they feel that they now own their women. Some women are even scared to go back to their families because large amounts of money were paid to their families. Majority of our South African women who are HIV positive are wearing rings on their fingers, alternatively in a committed relationship. Why is that? It is because the person that they call their intimate partner or husband refused to use protection during sexual intercourse, and because these women don't know their rights, they end up giving in or are forced into having unprotected sexual intercourse and later find that they have contracted the disease. When we voice this to our mothers or fathers, we are told to stay in our marriages because a woman endures or umfazi uyabekezela emendweni. Some of these women are even scared to go back to their families because their families are so patriarchal that their fathers or brothers literally chase them away to be with their husbands. Because these socially constructed gender roles have been in existence for a long time, these behaviors have now been seen as the right way of doing things by most women. Women are not allowed to work by their husbands, and because the husband is seen as the sole provider for the family. But what happens if the sole provider decides not to provide anymore, or if what they're providing is not enough for the whole family? Our women speak up, they raise their concerns, and because they're not allowed to do so, they get reprimanded by their husbands or fathers. Some women even suggest to look for employment. Some women are not allowed to work for a living by their men because they are supposed to stay at home and perform all the house chores and bear children for their men. But what happens if the sole provider decides not to provide anymore, or if what they're providing is not enough for the family? Our women speak up and raise their concerns. Some even suggest to look for employment, but because a woman is not allowed to do so, they are reprimanded by their men. Among other forms of gender-based violence is psychologically abusive behaviors such as controlling, coercion, or emotional blackmail. Women in our country have experienced or are experiencing emotional blackmail by their intimate partner. Such violence results in women thinking that they are not good enough for anything or can never amount to be anything in their lives. Some women have been belittled by their men too many times that they are unable to do anything or even think for themselves. There is also the issue of spousal rape. Marital rape is non-consensual sex whereby the perpetrator is the victim's spouse. It is usually part of domestic violence and sexual abuse associated with coercion and has affected a lot of South African women psychologically. It is important to know our rights as women, to teach and to preach these rights to fellow females and girl children. We have the right to live free from violence, to choose, to associate, to be educated, to earn a salary or a wage, or to own a property. As the now famous saying goes, women's rights are human's rights. This states that women are fully entitled to these rights and nobody can ever violate these rights, even your father, your brother, your husband, or your employer. What can we do to combat GBV and to protect our futures as females? Educate yourself and the next person about GBV. Report such cases of GBV to the nearest police station or navigate the justice system to seek help. Also use your voice on social media. It might reach a multitude of people. Sponsor a victim or survivor of gender-based violence by offering emotional support or even a job. Also, we can engage with men. Global statistics state that men are devastatingly the perpetrators of gender-based violence. Remember, women's rights are also human's rights. Wathinta abafazi, wathinta imbokodo.